to identify waste in government, and I'm going to have a transparent system, a budgetary system, blockchain budgetary system, so that every
What?
American can see every expenditure that we have on the budget, everything.
You're gonna use the blockchain to like publicly display the budget expedite. Like what? Like what? Oh my god. I understand like how magical people think AI is, but AI requires such a tremendous amount of human work to actually get working. Probably should load us down even more. How's it sound?
Strangle China.
That doesn't require naval power, by the way.
But what I would say is what we should be thinking of is, instead of a hot war with China, let's fight the war that China wants, which is by projecting economic power. But China, during the last 20 years that we've spent bombing bridges, ports, schools, churches, universities, mosques, etc., $8 trillion we've spent on that enterprise. The Chinese spend $8 trillion building ports, building roads, building schools, universities.
Okay, so that
with their Belt and Road program, 15 years ago, we were the largest creditor in every country in Latin America. Today, China is on virtually all of them. We have a two-strike capacity around the world to punish bad behavior if we need to. And then we start bringing money home.
And if you can find a way to do all those things militarily and cut the budget by half,
but yeah,
then
this is a $500 billion budget. And by the way, that's the same budget that Eisenhower had during the height of the Cold War, when we were, had an existential threat from the Soviet Union. And that's what we were also promised to cut down. But also,
you're just gonna have to go this way.
The GAO does a study every year on the most wasteful government programs. The stuff that is just comical. It's like, it will make you laugh if you read about
it's the golden toilets and all of this.
Right,
yes.
the golden toilet. So
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't believe a single thing he's saying. Like what he's saying sounds way too. It's political gymnastics there. That's why Ben was like, "You're gonna be able to do all of that and cut the budget in half," and he was just sitting there. Oh yeah, no, this is a $500 billion. Oh, whatever, man. Like, whatever. Greenland instances, frozen forests can be launched to from anywhere. They do not require capture of nearby territory. Number sectors such as this one are optional. Number sectors such as this one are optional. Yeah, but I needed a place that I could actually like make stuff. So that's why I'm here. Okay.
Those reports are this thick, and they're all brought to some shelf in the Library of Congress, and they're put there, and that's, the bureaucrats have done their job and identify them. I'm going to go through those, and I'm going to use AI to identify waste in government, and I'm going to have a transparent system, a budgetary system, blockchain budgetary system, so that every American can see every expenditure that we have on the budget, everything. And I'm going to use that system to identify waste and cut it. And then, I'm going to take the...
He don't know what the hell he's talking about. You're gonna use the blockchain to like publicly display the budget expedite. Like what? Like what? Oh my god, bro! I'm not gonna lie to you. That was wild. I truly do not believe he really understands what it is he's even talking about. That's like that. Not only is that like entirely unnecessary, right? I mean, I get it. Like if you think that's the only way to have transparency, but why not just have a roll up of just like exponential items? Shit, I knew there was gonna be a leak. Why not just have a roll up of just like the shit that you're spending your money on, like just neatly like put together, just straight on the government website? I don't get it. You're gonna have them devise an entire, like, first off, right? When we was at that crunch where like the government was getting ready to not be able to like pay its bills because the Republicans didn't want to update the debt ceiling, like one of the things that the Fed chair said is that our systems are so old that we can't select which debts to pay and which ones not to pay in order to prioritize, right? It is what it is. So like what he's suggesting would 1000% require a complete redesign of like whatever system we have in place now in order for it to actually work and be connected to a blockchain, right? And then there's going to be a huge security a huge security implication is going to be like tied to that. Like, oh, like what? Like that's wild. A blockchain? We're gonna have a blockchain that's just gonna show everything we spend our money on. Like that sounds fun. That sounds fun in theory, but like that's entirely unworkable. That's crazy. That is crazy that he sat there and like really. I gotta hear this again. That's crazy that he sat there and really uttered like that idea.
Identify waste in government, and I'm going to have a transparent system. You read about
That's the golden toilets and all of this.
right,
yes.
the golden toilet. So those reports are this thick, and they're all brought to some shelf in the Library of Congress, and they're put there, and that's the bureaucrats have done their job and identify them. I'm going to go through those, and I'm going to use AI to identify waste in government, and I'm going to have a transparent system, a budgetary system, blockchain.
And I just can't stress this enough. What he's talking about, that could potentially take a bare minimum 2 years to fully implement the way he's doing. Like AI, like people, like I understand like how magical people think AI is, but AI requires such a tremendous amount of human work to actually get working, right? Like you don't just like tell it, here's this stuff, and then it just magically just is able to interpret and understand everything, right? What you have to do first, what's going to have to happen first, is he's going to have a ginormous company, right? A company that's willing to like offset a lot of manpower hours or a lot of resources to sit there and sift through and properly catalog and like annotate all the different pieces of data sets you're going to feed that AI before it can even understand what it is you're even giving it, and then you'll be able to sit there and do calculations. Then you have to fine tune it in order for it to actually be able to give you what exactly it is you're looking for, and then you got to start handling like any unforeseen issues that come up that you won't see until you get into that stage of the thing. It's not at all a quick process. There's a reason why like a lot of the AI stuff, a lot of this AI stuff was actually being done a long time ago, like in 2012 ish, around there. The only reason why it blew up now is because that's how long it took from actual capability to actual usability, right? Because like the amount of human capital that was required to sit there and like annotate the data set that you're going to feed the AI and then create all of the different types of logic, like those stupid like trigger no tree thing, like whatever those things are called, like that stuff took a tremendous amount of time. You're not doing it in 2 years, and then all the bureaucracy that you're initially going to have to go through for funding and like this idea is so crazy. This is such a crazy like I said. Then I can't believe. Oh, never mind.
Budgetary
Shut up.
system so that every American can see every expenditure that we have on the budget, everything, is a particular problem because
Bro, why am I getting the hardcore robots at this
contract.
point in time?
Took,
Oh no, I gotta
those
beef up. I got to
paychecks
beef up
for
security.
40 years, and then we said to them, when you reach the age of 65, you're going to get that money. So I don't think that the United States should break its promise to those people. So I'm going to look at it. I'll tell you what, a lot of the budgetary stuff is we can't even comprehend it now because of what AI is going to do to our economy.
I know. Well, okay, hold on. Actually, that actually went a little bit different than what I was expecting. I thought the moment he invoked the word AI, I thought, oh no, I hope he's not one of those people that just like have the super little understanding of how AI truly works, but then like have these grand super ideas of like just how like they're going to be able to use it to like solve the world, solve the crazy problems. No, but like the way he did it, like as far as not being able to conceptualize what exactly is going to the economy, this is true. people don't understand. Like, look, I'm all for capitalism, but people don't understand. AI, once AI is in full swing in motion, like that shit's gonna is gonna murk a lot of it's gonna gut a lot of the economy. And like, I truly do believe we are going to be forced, just due to the greed of capitalism, right? We're going to be forced to have to like migrate to a socialist system. We won't have a choice, right? AI is going to suck up all the jobs, because like the key tenet of capitalism is, right, it's like, may the strongest win, and you can't outcompete you can't outcompete a machine. You can't outcompete a machine that can think just as well as you and do it faster and better, right? So like, what's going to happen?
Abortion.
Yes. I mean, to take the most hot button issue in the country.
My take on abortion is this: I grew up in a family where they're both pro-life and pro-choice. People in my family, a deeply Catholic family, and so I think we should be able to talk about these issues without hating each other. I've been a medical freedom advocate for my entire career. I think people should have bodily autonomy. I don't trust government to make decisions about what we should be doing with our own bodies. So I think that the only solution for me is that a woman has to make that choice for herself. I believe that every abortion is a tragedy at one level or another, and that we should do everything we can as a society to try to make sure women have other choices. And particularly, I don't like federal policy that channels women to one solution, which is abortion. I think if a woman, I talked to some mothers in the last couple of weeks in Atlanta, Georgia, in this facility where I've been repeatedly back to, called Angie's House. And it's one run by Angela Stanton King, who is a kind of a relative of Martin Luther King's family. And she had a baby when she was in prison. She was literally handcuffed to a bed. And everybody was telling her to get an abortion. She didn't. She had the baby in prison, and that girl just won the Harvard debating prize. She is full scholarship at MIT, and and Angie now takes care of women who.
You know what, I'm kind of curious. I'm curious, like, so did she go to jail pregnant? You'd like to hope so. Definitely would like to hope so, but otherwise kind of crazy. Let me go here.
Are being pressured to have abortions because they don't have the money to take care of the baby. I don't think that should ever be a reason in this country for a woman not carrying her child to term. So
This is a place where obviously you're going to bump heads, and I'm not sure there's a way around it, in the sense that a pro-lifer looks at a position like a woman ought to have bodily autonomy, and they say that's completely missing the point. We're not talking about the woman's bodily autonomy, we're talking about the baby's bodily autonomy, which is obviously not only the pro-life position, but the position of many mainstream religions, including the Catholic Church. And so when you look at pro-lifers who say, okay, well, I understand that you believe it's a tragedy, but along those same baseline biological lines, it's not just a tragedy; it's a crime against the child, because the child has an independent interest. What?
God, Jesus Christ, man! Because you know, like, what the problem with this debate is just because, like, there's a lot of assumptions being made that goes up to, like, to an entity that you can't even, like, speak to. You can't validate this with. You can't ask for guidance. You can't. There's like this notion that when these two cells like combine together within a body, that all of a sudden like a human soul is then entered into what's essentially just like literally like 4 or 5 cells before as they're continuing to replicate into 8 cells, then 16 cells, then 32. Like, it's just like it's so stupid. It really is just stupid. It's just, honestly, like, there's no better word for it. It's really stupid. It's a really just stupid thing to like base yourself, because this is tying us. This is taking us right back to religion, and it's just like it's. Oh well, hold on. I want to say that this shouldn't back up, right? That's just because it's just like a bunch backed up, and okay, no, it will actually back up. No, you know what? I'll leave it like this because then eventually I'm gonna upgrade it to the titanium, which is gonna be a lot faster. So I won't actually worry about that for right now. But like, let's see if I can actually make my point a little bit more coherent here, right? If you cannot definitively say with 100% certainty that something is a human life, then and you're just relying on religion to make that assumption or that belief, then it has no place in the United States government that has been founded on that principle of separation of church and state. Period. Right? Because then what you're sitting there is doing is like you sit there and you say the child has interests, right? But like then like you won't do then you don't care about anything about about the child after they're born. Like you don't actually care about the stuff. Wasn't you just complaining earlier about the entitlements that help a lot of like a lot of mothers that have like children that the living expenses is too much for them to actually bear, so they have to sit there and they gotta use food stamps or whatever. Like it's so crazy to me. It is so crazy to me.
But what do you say to that?
And deal with this.
I say that I understand that position, and I don't agree with it. I think that the solution of having the state come in and
right, because then when you draw, where do you draw the line, right? You sit there and like I don't know what the hell kind of like theory it is, but like then to sit there and say that, right, that this is a human life and this is going to be off of this. I mean, it's inherently based off of like some religious belief. So then what happens when a majority of a different religious belief takes over? Then what, right? You can't. What are you going to say and do at that point, right? It gets too messy. This is why they just sat there and they said that like separation of church. Do not bring church-related matters into the government because then it becomes a massive problem. It will become a massive problem later. It really does.
dictate choices that that the woman is making is not.
You know what I'm saying? Because like if you establish it where you like somehow enshrine it that like religion then has like some kind of real place in the government, then it's like okay, bet, right? Then let's give it a decade or two, right? When the population starts turning over, right? And like other other religious groups, right, are having more and more children versus Christianity and whatnot, right? And then then let's see, right? Then once they start getting into like little phases of power, then what happens? You know what? Then what happens? Right? Like you can't say shit then. You can't say shit then because you already established. You established the president, the precedent. Excuse me. Like it's so crazy.
That's not a good solution.
Like people want to like redefine like the core tenet of what makes America so bad. It's sad. It really is.
A bureaucrat making these very, very difficult moral choices. I think that choice should be between the woman, her pastor, her spiritual advisors, the people who she consults in her life, and that it's a very, very difficult decision.
So you don't believe that the child has an independent right to life, for example, at any point during the pregnancy?
All right. And then you have and then like you get back to it. Then you start having the problems about like whose life is worth more, right? The child's or the mom's, right? Then you like under what circumstances does the mom have superior right? At what point does the child have superior right? And then like you got cases where like mom's life is in danger, right? So then all of a sudden it's okay, like it's okay to like kill somebody just because somebody else's life is like going to like naturally be in jeopardy from like current child. It's just I don't know. It's so stupid. The abortion thing. Like I said, morality and religion. Stay away. Just stay away from it. Like it's I hate those. I hate it so much. I really do.
I mean, how far does
Well,
the right to choice extend?
here's what I would say, man. There's no woman who has who gets pregnant, carries that baby for 8 months, and then decides to have an abortion for some frivolous reason. They're in that kind of case, and no, was that if you worked hard and you played by the rules, that you could finance a house, you could take a summer vacation, you could raise a family, you could put something aside for your retirement on one job. And there is not a single member of my kids' generation that believes that that promise applies to them. You know, I have one of my sons is a third.
It just doesn't exist. It stopped, like, being able to support a family off of one job. That's long gone. That's history at this point, right? Like the cost of living, you know, the expenses of having children, health insurance, right? The healthcare, like, especially if something goes wrong, because people will be really surprised. Like, if you are blessed and lucky to be healthy and to not have anything major happen to you, you're good. You don't have to worry about. But it's crazy to me that, like, you know, people don't have a problem with, like, some key issues that our current healthcare system has, like that is just naturally born from just capitalism and profits, right? There is no reason why, like, if my child gets stung by, like, one of those, like, those really bad poisonous things, like animals, like over there in Nevada or Mexico, like wherever they're at, right, that the anti-venom treatment, like the entire thing would cost $62,000, and God forbid I don't have health insurance for that. You know, $62,000 for an anti-venom that, like, my child's life will potentially, like, depend on. Like, and I always bring up the first hearing under Trump's presidency for either the first Congress or the second Congress, because, you know, each presidential term has two, like, Congress flips, and that first hearing was about a mom whose daughter couldn't afford who couldn't afford penicillin for her daughter, and her daughter died. Like, it's just like that's like enshrined in the American dream at this stage. Like, there's just no way that you're going to be able to survive off of one job income. I'm sorry. Like, it's just it's like anybody that says, especially like in the red pill community, it's crazy. We was just looking it up on the income bracket thing, right? Like 50%, like half of the U.S. population alone makes like $50,000 a year, right? And so, like, if you want to sit there and, like, if you really want to be sufficient to maybe start kind of protecting yourself, like you and your family of one child, right? You're looking at, like, having an income of like around $80,000 to $90,000, and you want to hope that nothing medically goes wrong, because, like, your health, the medical costs are going to really creep up and, for lack of a better word, like, just like penetrate you. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. Like, that's just what it is. Like what? Like, what was it, like the EpiPen? Like the EpiPen when it first came out was like what, like $12 or something like that, right? And then like what? Then over a span of, like, I think it was like 4-6 years, something like that. Like, it wasn't too long. The formula didn't change, packaging didn't nothing about it changed, and then the price jumped from like $12 to like $600. Like, it's just like that. That's what capitalism brings you inside of healthcare. I'm all for capitalism in everything but healthcare. We should not be allowing profits to be a priority at any point in time in an industry that somebody's life literally would depend on. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
9 years old, and he owns a home. But all the other ones went to the best schools in our country, the best schools you could possibly go to. They're smart. They're very capable. They have great jobs.
I'm not getting no coal.
None of them's looking for a house because it's just out of their reach, and none of that's generated. And if you don't own a home, I mean, you're talking about community. We need to reestablish the ownership society here, because that's the only way America survives.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Big Wireless has once again raised their prices. In response,
if you own a home, you care about your community. You care about the police, the firefighters. You show up at the PTA meeting. You care about the transportation. You care about the appearance of your property, and you care about your neighbors. If once you become a renter, which is what BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard want us all. This is the new oligarchy, this feudal oligarchy of.
You know what's been like really crazy lately too? Like, has anybody been seeing like the homeowner stuff that's been like creeping up like in the news lately, or at least like news articles and stuff? Like, I don't want to say like it's like major news or anything like that, but like that stuff's been like hitting my my news feeds for a bit, like on the articles I read, and like the shit's kind of crazy that you own a home and then like you can't be allowed, like you can own the property that home is in, and you can't do certain things, or you're not allowed to like like add or take away or even park your vehicle like on your drive or whatever, just because of like the homeowners association, like in that area that you also got to pay and stuff to. Like, to me, that's pretty anti-American in my honest opinion. But I mean, I understand like some of the benefits like of collective, I don't want to say bargaining, but a collective like working together, whatever the word that would be. But like the restrictions, right, on a property and house that I own, that's crazy. To me personally, that's crazy.
Controlling the land base. We go from being citizens to being subjects. And the main thing is that if you own property, you have equity, which means you can borrow on it, which means you can pursue your entrepreneurial impulses. So if you decide, I want to build a yoga studio or a bowling alley or a juice bar or whatever, you can borrow on your house, you can beg your house on it, and then you can go to the bank and get that money, and you can, and that's why one of the reasons that our country exploded.
That wasn't too bad. I like the kind of questions that Ben was like grilling them on was actually like pretty decent, but it was just, but I'd say like maybe 60%, 70% of that is just like that, and then 30% was just like just having him speak about like his ideals and stuff like that and what he's gonna do and whatnot. So, you know, it was all right. It was all right.